Good afternoon, happy Thanksgiving weekend, and welcome to the November virtual membership meeting for the South Orange County Economic Coalition. With me today I have Supervisor Lisa Bartlett, and I am the chairwoman of the South Orange County Economic Coalition. Supervisor Bartlett, thank you for joining us.
It's great to be with you here today.
So let's get into it. I know we just had a very exciting election day, and some of the outcomes, they're not certified yet, but we are looking forward to the outcomes. I know December 8th is around the time that they're going to be certified, but with that in mind, there are some trends that are happening, and what are your thoughts on that? A traditionally red county is having more tinges of purple, and specifically in South County.
Yes, our county has been changing over the last number of years from a red county to a purple county. And in looking at some of the elections, both at the city council and county supervisor, for instance, let alone the state and federal levels, we are going to be seeing some definite changes. We have in South County, for instance, it appears, and the election is not certified yet by the registrar of voters. We have 30 days to certify. But the trend on some of the races, the results have been very interesting. So, for instance, in the city of Laguna Niguel, you'll see the very first Democrat council member in as long as I can remember. So it's an interesting trend in some of the cities where some of the majorities on councils are flipping, and that may be the same case with the Orange County Board of Supervisors as well.
Yes, definitely. The city of Irvine also, which is quite interesting. What do you see as some of the key issues that faced voters this year?
I think with voters this year, they are looking at more than just the issues relating to Roe versus Wade, inflation, the high gas prices. They are going to the ballot box and they really want candidates that speak for themselves, speak for the public at large, that aren't just the traditional, let me get elected to office and then I'm going to do what I want to do. The electorate is now looking at candidates that will be a true representative of the public. And I think that dynamic on the city councils, board of supervisors, and state and federal level as well, things are definitely going to be shaking up a little bit, and we're going to have to stay tuned for what the future holds. But there are some definite changes at all levels of government.
I know we've spoken a little bit about this, but there are some cities like Rancho Santa Margarita where full sweep, the incumbents were reelected. We talked about Irvine and even Mission Viejo. There seems to be some changes brewing there. And then San Clemente and San Juan, also some new blood in those cities. So there's kind of like that juxtaposition of certain cities, incumbents get reelected, others there's new blood. Any thoughts there on, I know that we talked about one issue candidates, but any other thoughts on why perhaps those issues are changing or why voter trends are changing?
I think with some of the cities relative to the incumbents not being reelected, I think that the voters, again, they want someone that truly represents their interests and what they feel will be good governing policy. And so it's more than just politics for the sake of politics. The electorate really wants someone that is going to be their voice out there in the community and in local government. And that's why I think some of the incumbents did not get reelected, and you'll see some new faces on the city council and other, other levels as well.
I'm definitely looking forward to how that all turns out. But we are so thankful in South County and the fabulous 5th District to have you and your representation. I know that your district changed a little bit. I know predominantly for 7 years you represented South Orange County, and then for the last year you had a couple new cities. But for the past 16 years representing the city of Dana Point and then the 5th District, as you look back on your time, what are some of your greatest accomplishments?
I think some of my greatest accomplishments include the starting of the Dana Point Harbor Revitalization Project. This has been a project that's been in the works for over 20 years, and it had gotten stalled, and we hadn't really made much movement in the last 10 years or so. So one of the very first things I did when I got elected was to really kickstart that project. But in looking at it, it was a $350 million project back then, and now it's an over $500 million project. But I thought about it, and I went to our CEO and said, how are we going to pay for this project? We only have $50 million in the Tidelands Trust. and it took 50 years to get to $50 million. So if we were going to pay as we went, it would be a 400-year project. And then the county had an option of maybe bonding, and I said, I really don't want to put this project on the backs of the taxpayers. We need to create a great project and revitalize the harbor, but I don't want it to be a burden on the taxpayers. So the obvious solution to me was the public-private partnership, which is the way we decided to proceed with the project. And I really think that was the best decision. We have the best-in-class partners for the Dana Point Harbor revitalization with Burnham Ward and Joe Uberoff with Bellwether Financial, R.D. Olson on the hotels. And they take the financial risk, they finance the project, and we get a revenue stream into the county. Also, it's a 5 to 7 year project completion time frame, as opposed to 40, 50, 60 years plus. So we get the project completed much sooner, and the partners are bringing really unique and innovative ideas to the table. And I think we're going to end up with a much, much better project than really the county could have ever done.
When will the public see that project come to fruition?
The partners are in the process of finalizing the financing for the project, and we have approvals from the City, County, and Coastal Commission for the commercial core and for the waterside improvements. And we're just waiting for Coastal Commission approval for the hotel. So we decided to put the hotel separate from the initial financing so we could focus on the other two core pieces of the harbor. You'll see the parking structure, which will be a 3-tiered parking structure. That will get moving shortly, and you'll see some construction relative to that in the commercial core. The waterside improvements, the docks are being constructed as we speak. They're 75-year docks, so they will last a long time, and they will be trucked down from Dixon, California to the harbor and be placed in the water. I think the West Basin is going to be first for starting the waterside improvements. So things are definitely moving along. And once the docks are in place in the west side, then they'll move to other parts of the harbor to create the new space for the docks. And on the land side, you'll start seeing some of the new buildings be constructed. So they'll tear down one building and put up a new building in its place.
I know this is one of the reasons that you decided to run for city council, and seeing it come to fruition must be so exciting.
It is. This is a long time coming. I worked on it 2 years as an alternate planning commissioner, 8 years on the Dana Point City Council, and now 8 years on the Orange County Board of Supervisors. So to have this project come to fruition, it means a lot to me and for the community at large. And it's a great legacy to leave behind to make sure that we have a brand new harbor for everyone to enjoy. And there'll be great connectivity as well for all components of the harbor, which is something we don't have right now. Another great project that I'm happy is moving forward is the Los Patrones Parkway extension. You know, for years there were different alternatives that were discussed and potentially planned, and a number of them went right through basically cities that are built out. And so we needed to come up with a solution, and there wasn't any entity coming up with a solution. And at the same time, Rancho Mission Viejo, we know, is building out 14,000 homes, and we need to improve regional mobility. So we thought about it, and what do we do? And I said, we need to have a solution to go from Cow Camp Road over to La Pata. So I sat with our Director of Public Works and created a path, and there's literally one dotted line from Cow Camp Road going over Ortega Highway, coming around the middle of Planning Area 5 in Rancho Mission Viejo, staying below the ridgeline so no view impacts, and then connecting into La Pata on the San Clemente side. And we avoid all of the environmentally sensitive areas, and we have one area to connect in the San Clemente area at La Pata, which avoids some of the mitigation areas in the landfill. So we had a very interesting and difficult time creating that one path, but we finally were able to do that. And now we're moving forward on that project. So all the stakeholders are really engaged and focused on getting that project moving forward as quickly as possible. And the community now has the reassurance that they are not going to have a road going through their built-out communities. So for San Clemente and San Juan Capistrano and the other cities that could be affected, they can now rest assured that we have a non-tolled county arterial that ends at La Pata, and they can rest assured that we've got increase in regional mobility. The LPPE takes 12,000 trips a day off of La Pata, so that's a great thing.
Yes.
And then besides that project, we have the Ortega widening project, fixing the 1.1 mile pinch point on Ortega Highway, and the continuation of the HOV lane from Pico to the San Diego County line. So those three projects take Orange County or South Orange County well into the future for enhancing regional mobility and public safety. And then another thing that I've really been promoting are the public-private partnerships. County government is wonderful. We have a great staff at the county, but government shouldn't do everything. And when it comes to a lot of the infrastructure type projects, whether it's transportation or building infrastructure, private sector is really a much better way to go. And so we've done public-private partnerships, not only with Dana Point Harbor, but we have another project in place in South County in Laguna Niguel, the Laguna Niguel City Center project. And that's a team of Burnham Ward and Saris Regis. And then we have our Civic Center Master Plan, again, public-private partnership. Our OC Animal Care Facility was a public-private partnership that was designed and built out in less than 18 months. So we have a number of great successes throughout the county with county government partnering with the private sector and getting projects online that much faster, and all with no taxpayer dollars. So it's a win-win for everyone, and it creates thousands of private sector jobs when you have public-private partnerships. And then a fourth project that comes to mind is the Majestic Realty Prado Dam project. So this one is key. It's not in my district, but I'm laser focused on it, and was happy to report that we just finally received approval from the Army Corps of Engineers to get our 408 permit to move the project forward. What that project means to the county, and as you know, the county has thousands of parcels that could be developed. So one of these parcels is in a potential floodplain in the Prado Dam area. So in looking at the project footprint, the county had the opportunity to create a really significant footprint in this industrial area. And it's on the goods movement corridor, so having a goods movement fulfillment center located within this footprint makes a lot of sense. It's millions of square feet that can be built out, and now that we've been able to secure the 408 permit, Majestic will build out this industrial facility for goods movement, and that will create a revenue stream to the County of Orange that will be several billions of dollars over the long-term lease for this particular project. So when you take a look at what it means to the county over the long term, this is all additional revenue. And by monetizing our county assets and putting them to good use to actually make money for the county, that infusion of cash allows the county to be able to create and have a substantial revenue stream for the long term to create programs and initiatives that we know we can fund that will benefit our 3.2 million residents in the County of Orange.
Speaking of your legacy of leadership, I know that you are really proud of rolling into leadership 4 years ago on SOCEC, the California State Association of Counties. Can you speak a little bit about how that came about and how you enjoyed that?
Well, every county, so we have 58 counties in the state of California, and every county has one supervisor designee to serve on SOCEC. So I'm the designee for Orange County. And when I started getting involved in SOCEC, I realized this is a great opportunity to really have Orange County finally front and center. And so I worked very hard with my colleagues to ensure that I could get into leadership. And getting into the leadership of SOCEC in 2020, of course, everyone says, well, you drew the short straw because you had SOCEC leadership in the year of COVID. But it was a very interesting, challenging, and fascinating year. So being SOCEC president in 2020, it was a great opportunity not just to lead an outstanding organization, but to really showcase what we've done here in Orange County.
And being the first SOCEC president from Orange County, I think that was a legacy of your leadership.
Yes, I'm the first SOCEC president from Orange County in 75 years.
Wow, that's fantastic. So I know that you spoke about regional mobility, and we talked about the La Plata Extension Project, Ortega widening. Also, there have been a number of improvements on the freeways, including, the 5 freeway in South County and some of the interchange improvements. Did you want to discuss any of that?
Yes, we have a $600 million plus project in South County from the 73 Toll Road to El Toro Road. And it's really significant because as we have more growth in South Orange County, we don't have the opportunity like other parts of the county where we can actually build out more arterials and more freeways. We have one freeway, which is the I-405 and the I-5. And so we have to figure out what we can do, how we can do more with less. And we have made now some significant improvements. They'll be completed in 2023, 24 in that region. And that's going to really be significant because, again, that will open up regional mobility in South County where we need it.
I think we're all looking forward to the end of that construction project.
Construction is not fun for any individual driving on the freeway or for the cities that have construction right there, in their backyards. However, they understand very well, and I think they appreciate the fact that we're doing some great work through OCTA. And we're going to have improved regional mobility and enhanced public safety for everyone traveling in South County. So looking at the not too distant future when these projects are finished, I think that the public and certainly the residents appreciate the good work that OCTA is doing.
Well, speaking of regional mobility, development goes hand in hand with that. And the state has taken away some local control from our communities, talking about RENA and some of those numbers, but in South County specifically, I know you were speaking very highly of Rancho Mission Viejo and their strategic approach to development and the 14,000 homes coming to South Orange County. Can you talk a little bit about that in terms of how responsible development can be done, and perhaps even touch on the Laguna Hills Mall project and how they've incorporated housing into that as well?
Right. Well, every city and for the counties as well, we need to try to attain our RENA numbers. And sometimes it's very difficult because many of the communities are already built out. So Orange County is a very dense county, 3.2 million people in less than 800 square miles. So by comparison, our neighboring counties, Riverside, San Bernardino, San Diego, have roughly the same population, more or less, and they've got 7,000 square miles. So they have much more space to be able to expand and build out a lot of the affordable housing, whereas it's more challenging in Orange County. So we have to work hard and work smart. And I know that our developers that are out there, they are very, very creative. So in the 2004 development agreement with Rancho Mission Viejo for the 14,000 homes, I think about 2,400 homes are going to be affordable units. And the Merlone Geyer project at the Laguna Hills Mall, again, will have some affordable units on site there as well. So I think looking at the RENA numbers, every city and for the county in the unincorporated areas, we're always looking at opportunities to incorporate affordable housing and permanent supportive housing when we can, where it makes sense, in the various development projects.
Supervisor, do you have any parting words for the South Orange County business community?
The business community is so important to Orange County. They are the economic driver for the county. And so whether they're a small business or a large corporation, I think what I would recommend is we really need to have them stay in tune with the political landscape and local elections. So when you take a look at city council races, board of supervisors, and even at the state and federal levels, it's really important for the business community to look at all the candidates and support candidates that are going to be representative of the business community and be able to have these individuals elected to office knowing that they will be advocates for the business community. And it's not just a matter of individuals that may have a business, but individuals or candidates that truly understand business and knows how to connect the dots with regard to the business community and elected office, meaning they know how to govern and they know how governance makes a decision, good, bad, or indifferent, relative to the business community. Because those votes that take place may have some great positive effects for the business community, or they might be very detrimental. And so it's really important for the business community to be engaged and make sure they support good candidates that represent their interests and that they know will do a great job, whether it's city council or board of supervisors or at the federal or state levels.
Well, we are so blessed in South Orange County to have you and your business acumen and your experience to represent not only the city of Dana Point, but South Orange County cities and the fabulous 5th District. Thank you so much for your time today and joining us.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here with you. Always great to see you. And it's kind of bittersweet that I'll be leaving the Board of Supervisors, but when I leave office, I leave knowing that I worked hard every single day. I had a great team in my board office and our county staff. And we accomplished a lot every single day, and we leave behind a legacy of great programs and initiatives and projects, things that are either finished or are in motion and will continue to be positive for Orange County in the future. So I leave knowing that we have done a lot of great things for the residents of the county, and there is still more to come.
Well, we all know that you are the hardest working supervisor. I might be biased, but I saw that firsthand working on the board floor with you, and I am just so blessed to know you as a friend and a mentor. So thank you again, and thank you for joining us today at the South Orange County Economic Coalition's virtual membership meeting. Join us next month as we dig into more issues. See you next time.